What a profoundly exciting moment this is. Just looking out there and looking at all of you with great expectations of a future to come, let me first of all say a wonderful thank you to Dr. Rose Patton, the person who has managed this university, a very historic space, for quite some time. And I take off my hat to her and to our president, Merrick Gertier. But you know, there are some other people who have played a very significant role, and I'm going to be talking to you, the graduates here today. But before I get there, I want to talk to you about the people that have nominated me. So I stretch my hands out to Charlie Keel, Professor Charlie Keel, and to one of my nominators, and to Miss Dr. Kofi Hope. And I don't see Laurel, but Laurel MacDonald. These are among the people who nominated me for this very great and exciting role, providing this moment for me to be able to meet with you, the newest of graduates here at this very stellar, internationally reputable institution. For me, there is excitement in my heart, but I've traveled a long time and a very long journey. This is my 8th decade of living in this land. And the world is your oyster. For you, all of the possibilities and the opportunities are opening, are available. And there is no doubt that after working as hard as you have, whether it's over 4 or more years, to reach to this point where you're now celebrating the receipt of a distinct honor and certification that will open up the world's corridors for you. And you are coming from an institution whose reputation is profoundly distributed around the entire globe, and its graduates have made significant, profound impacts all around the world. Who knows which of you will be among them, touting the values of this great space. You know, I had a sudden episode in January of this year. And after having lived for a very long time, this is my 85th year on this planet, and after having lived all of that time, just recently I ended up at the Joseph Brant Hospital. And this doctor helped to save my life, Dr. Shamir. I just collapsed one day. I was discovered in my home unconscious. I didn't know when I arrived at the hospital. But here I am, ready and willing to help to celebrate your legacy, that I was being ready for the future, and my own legacies that I left not only in the Jane Finch, but in Canada. And I'm still about creating more of them. So let me take you on a little journey with me. I know my time is limited. So I will try not to overextend my stay and welcome. But let me say this to you, that this very little black melanated person that you see standing before you has traveled a significant journey, some of which has been told to you so eloquently by the president of this university. So I was born in a country, former colony called British Guyana in South America. And my ancestry dates back to the important continent of Africa. I am one of those descendants from the people of Africa who were captured enslaved, and spent centuries living, producing, making children of the world, sometimes without their consent, many times without their consent. But here I am to tell you a story of success, given all the travails of the travel, that I hope will inspire and encourage you to greater heights. You have not yet reached the epitome of your success, but certainly this is a crowning moment in which you should share and enjoy with that family that has been behind you over many years, supporting you and encouraging you, and sometimes paying your school fees. So remember that family is the strongest base and foundation of our societies. My travel took me into a range of careers, and somebody should give me a signal when it's time for me to get off this podium. I don't want to hog it for too much longer. It's your day, and it's a day that you ought to be celebrating. And I am so happy to be here to share that with you. But one of my longest time friends met with me, or we met together in the year 1965 when we went for an interview at our public hospital in the city of Georgetown. And our friendship continues unto this day. Richard Jordan and his wife are present here today after many, many years of retaining a friendship. We traveled to England together in 1961 as nurses trained in British Guiana. We worked as staff nurses, male nurses. We were children of the empire, the British Empire. So we have gone through several norms over the several decades of our life that you may not quite experience in the same way, because the opportunities for you to experience it that way does not longer exist. Your challenges will be different. So arriving in what we at that time called the mother country, Great Britain, I continued my nursing profession. I arrived here as a nurse. I was recruited to come to work in operating rooms, one of my specialty areas. But over the succeeding decades, my marriage, and I expected to see at least one of my children here, but for some reason they have not arrived at this point. But nonetheless, the people of the Jane Finch, to whom I'm dedicating the receipt of this magnificent honor, the people of Jane Finch are my family. And it is only because of them that I have been able to get to this particular podium. And so when I get my post-secondary students who come over to the Yorkgate Mall to do their placements with me, and if they're not from that community, and particularly if they're white, they say, "Is it safe to come here?" I said, "Well, I am here, and I'm still alive. Why should you have fear?" Right? And I've been able to travel around that community for the almost 30 years that I spend there, giving my service for free. I have not been paid a nickel in all the years, and I have not missed a day, except when I'm out of the country. Mr. President, and Professor, Dr. and Chancellor Rose Patton, Mr. Kofi Hope, Dr. Kofi Hope, all of you who are sharing this moment with me today, I want to say to you an enormous thank you. And I want my story to be an inspiration for all of you who are graduating and others who may not yet have been here, and to let you know that no matter how hard and difficult that journey is, some kind of success always awaits you once you are able to recognize it once it appears. So never be deterred by the fact of the adversities that might seem very daunting. They are meant to lift the level of your performance and to give value to the achievement, the more difficult those challenges are. And we have many of them going on around the world. But I'm going to end by saying that the continent of Africa is the next area of energizing vitality that will help to transform this world. And to all those Africans who have suffered over the centuries and the millennia and have been displaced and replaced, I want to say to the current stream of Africans being born that we are all going to be in a world that will be better than the ones that we have occupied in prior years. Congratulations to all of you graduates. Congratulations to the families that you're going to raise. But let me give praise and thanks to this wonderful and beautiful country called Canada. Thank you so much.